until 1953, when I was about 19 or 20 years old, I began hearing about Elijah Muhammad and Malcolm X. And I was frightened of Malcolm because I heard there was a lot of anti-white sentiment, and I wasn't in agreement with that. But I went one day while I was visiting Chicago to hear Elijah Muhammad for myself, my wife and I, and my first daughter. And the day that I heard him, I accepted his teachings. Subsequent to that, I went to the mosque in New York and came under the teachings of Malcolm X.
What year was that?
This was in 1955. My heart burned so much to see black people free, and the approach of Elijah Muhammad was to first take out of our hearts a negative feeling toward our blackness. And as I read a lot of Islamic literature, I believe that even during the time of the Prophet, peace be upon him, there was something of an anti-black sentiment because of the suffering of Bilal. And even in Egypt today and in the Arab world, there is this feeling that I get that the lighter ones who are more close to Europeans sense or feel that they are better than the darker brother who is also Muslim. And so Elijah Muhammad knew that we had, as black people, a deep sense of inferiority that he wanted to break up. And so he taught us the history of ourselves and the great civilizations of Africa that were built by black people. And this gave us again a pride in ourselves. Well, you know and I know and all Muslims know that Islam does not teach race. Islam does not teach color. That's what Islam does not teach. But white supremacy teaches it. And even though you are under Islam, you live. And our world lives under white supremacy and its teachings. And this is, to me, what forced Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, 80 days before he died, when he spoke to his ummah, he said, there is no superiority of the white over the black, or the Arab over the non-Arab. He who is best among you is he who is most careful of his or her duty to God. Why did the prophet have to make that statement unless there was in his community a feeling of being better because you're Arab? And the final revelation from God came to the Arabs and through the Arabs to the entire world, and that there was a feeling of superiority of the light skin or white skin over the dark. So the prophet in Hadith says, if a man comes whose hair is like dried raisins and his face like soot, if he speaks the wisdom of God, follow him. He's breaking up racism. This is what the prophet was fighting against, the teaching of white world supremacy, which has dominated the world. So what is the end?